NASCAR racing and learn how to rectify that wrecking yourself.
Nobody's catching us. 77.
Casey Atwood was the youngest race winner in the history of the NASCAR Busch.
This is 10 to Go, the source for NASCAR top 10s, because God knows no one else is going to do it.
Aaron Crocker in the 6.
For this list, we're looking at a more recent phenomenon. We're looking back over the last 15 years to find the 10 most hyped drivers that failed to deliver results.
Sam Hornish Jr. is going to victory lane.
This list will only be counting drivers that never delivered consistent competitive results throughout their careers, or to date if their career is still in progress. This list will not be counting still active drivers that have not competed in more than 3 seasons of competition, so Austin Dillon will not be counted. In addition, family ties drivers such as Kerry Earnhardt, Stephen Wallace, Kenny Wallace, and Kyle Petty will not be counted. Also, no, Dale Earnhardt Jr. will not be on this list. I like to base my list off credible statistics that have evidence to back it up, not hype-triggered claims based off driver distaste. In layman's terms, a crap driver doesn't score 26 wins throughout his career. Just saying. This list is ranked based on a combination of performance versus amount of media attention at the start of their careers. Green flag, 10 to go. Number 10, Reed Sorenson. Not much to say about Sorenson in terms of media coverage, but rather his overall performance in his 2005 Busch stint gave him a shadow of promise, scoring 2 wins across the season for Chip Ganassi Busch campaign, and no doubt turning heads as one of the youngest promising drivers in NASCAR at the time.
Checkered flag, this time by for 19-year-old Reed Sorenson as he picks up.
But what happened to him after coming up to the Cup Series is somewhat of a mystery, as Sorenson put up a far less than stellar performance for his rookie campaign, only to follow it up with very slight improvement in top 10s and top 5s, then to sharply decline after those 2 seasons, never to even score a single win before his career lost promise and wound down to the world of start and park.
He's out of gas. Where's out of gas, Jimmy?
And watch Casey King come roaring by in that red car. They gambled and lost.
Some blame the instability of Ganassi at the time, others blame his young age and the fact that he was moved up too quick, but regardless of the reason, Sorenson presented us with promise that he unfortunately has yet to back up. Number 9, Sam Hornish Jr. Hornish was the first of many open-wheelers from 2007 and 2008 that will be featured on this list, as his abysmal 2008 rookie campaign goes down as one of the least memorable in recent history, despite the non-stop press around him jumping over from IndyCar to NASCAR at the time.
Until this weekend is over and going to move on to other... Whoa, there is Sam Hornish. And Hornish is nosed into the wall.
Part of Hornish's lack of performance can definitely be accredited to the inexperienced New Penske team, as well as the fact that Hornish only ran a total of 13 NASCAR races before his 2008 full-time campaign began. But regardless, the media would not stop talking about it, which led us to anticipate much bigger things. Hornish eventually notched a feel-good win running part-time in the Nationwide Series at Phoenix in 2011.
Wasn't going to be denied at this point. Here he comes out of turn number 4, his first Nationwide Series win and a 1-2 finish for Team Penske.
And has made a modest name for himself in the series over the last handful of years. Number 8, Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Sliding backwards, and the caution is out. See the 17 come off.
2002, win 2 consecutive Busch Series titles, land a top-notch Cup ride. 2012, win 2 consecutive Nationwide Series titles, land a meh Cup ride. It's okay, Ricky. It could have been worse. You could have been the 2015 champion.
I'm really happy I got to run with Front Row last year.
Really happy I got to run with Front Row.
If it wasn't for his higher than average amount of wrecked race cars, Ricky would have the good excuse behind him of he was a rookie the last year Roush was any good. Roush wasn't any good when he got good. But in Ricky's defense, despite a lack of top 10s and top 5s, his rookie year was above average in terms of average finish. Better than Kyle Busch's, in fact. And nobody who scores 2 titles in the Nationwide Series after winning races like this.
He's got a little redemption in mind here tonight. Oh, look out as he has a tire situation. Here comes Edwards right into it. They cross the line, and guess who wins the race? Stenhouse.
He is no slouch. And it's beginning to show that Ricky is now the star pupil of Roush, his 2016 season being his best since his rookie year and highest among his entire team in points. Not to say that it was good, but it was certainly better. And since we're taking a much jokier approach of this entry, enjoy this clip of how Ricky Stenhouse Jr. lost the 2008 ARCA title. It's not relevant, it's just damn fun to watch.
Speed has actually talked on the radio about letting the 99 go around, and they make contact. Speed into the wall.
Speed into the wall hard, and that happened because Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was into the back of him. Well, we talked about it being a very tricky day for anyone to unseat Scott Speed, but points as of now, we see Ricky Stenhouse Jr. up on top. Justin Allgaier is sitting second. Scott Speed third.
Oh, a little contact right there, a little.
Problem. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. around, and oh, by the way, that was the 2. Your 2008 champion, Allgaier, will win the race, his 6th of the season.
Number 7. Juan Pablo Montoya. Unlike the previous entries, Montoya actually won a Cup Series race and had a generally better overall career performance than the rest of the open wheels on this list. But you would swear that he was the next coming of Jesus if you were to watch any sports broadcast in late 2006 and all throughout 2007.
Welcome to the final super speedway race of the season, the Food World 250 from Talladega Super Speedway. Well, the buzz in the stock car world is that open wheel phenom Juan Pablo Montoya is throwing his helmet into the ring. Where did it all start?
Juan Pablo Montoya. Juan Pablo Montoya.
Juan Pablo Montoya.
Where's Juan Pablo Montoya? He's out having a taco.
Was Montoya able to back up the hype? Well, at first, yes. Montoya actually impressed in his rookie year, winning Sonoma in the Mexico Nationwide race and finishing top 20 in points, then making the chase 1 year later.
And Montoya wins at Sonoma. That's amazing. That is amazing.
But after that, no. One win at Watkins Glen and a total of 59 top 10 finishes and 255 starts was the only success Montoya saw in NASCAR. In terms of performance, Montoya's resume is pretty tame, but how it contrasted to his hype is another story entirely. Number 6. David Gilliland. Judging by the previous list this guy topped, top 10 upsets, this entry is none too surprising considering the follow-up events that led to a fruitless pursuit of NASCAR win number 2.
Position. Mark, David Gilliland's having a heck of a run here, a career run for him.
David was pretty much given a dying team's R&D Cup Series car after an impressive but ultimately fluke victory on a track that the Cup Series didn't even run and pretty much told, here, make a miracle. I mean, what did you expect? His best 2006 Busch Series finish after the win? 26th. It took him 9 races to finish on the lead lap, 5 more to do so on a 9-plate track in the Cup Series. And in the 2 years David ran for Yates before being pushed to field filler teams, he accumulated a mere 4 top 10 finishes. Gilliland was a threat to win in the following handful of years on plate tracks, even helping push Front Row Motorsports teammate David Reagan to a win in the 2013 Fall Talladega race. But other than that, David Gilliland's lackluster NASCAR career was simply the result of desperate impulse.
Stewart, Gilliland, Busch.
Number 5, Casey Atwood.
Casey Atwood says, I'm not going to let this one get away.
Bring it on. You're all right.
Don't overdrive it. Casey Atwood.
Great job, yes.
He has got himself a win on the NASCAR Busch.
Atwood showed mild promise at his young age in the 1999 Busch Series campaign, winning 2 races, and seems to be one of the more popular hype that never performed picks among longtime fans. But honestly, his statistics never really impressed me personally. He put up Brendan Gaughan level numbers in his 2001 rookie season in Cup and spent most of the season struggling his way into the top 30 in points. Although Atwood seemed to be able to gain his footing toward the end of the 01 NASCAR season, a sophomore slump in 2002 rendered him jobless in Cup. He drove a couple seasons for Terry Bradshaw in the Busch Series and ran some races here and there until vanishing from the sport after 2009. Number 4, Trevor Bayne. This kid had promise. At age 15, he was battling for wins in the Hooters Pro Cup Series alongside a 16-year-old Joey Logano.
Gill is third, Huffman is fourth, and boy, what about rookie Trevor Bayne in that McDonald's ride? 15-year-old.
After putting up some decent numbers in the Nationwide Series, Bayne was picked up to drive the 21 for the Wood Brothers part-time in 2011, which paved the way for one of the most historic upsets in NASCAR history.
Bayne is going to win the Daytona 500. Unbelievable. Happy birthday.
Now, what seemed like a blessing to Bayne at the time was only further solidification of the silent prowess that the kid actually maintained, as his stats were impressive nonetheless. But here's where the bar was set, and now how do you top it? Or at least, how do you maintain what you now have with a team that's nearly out of business?
How do we know, though, Marty, that he's not just a one-hit wonder?
We don't. We don't, because it is such a different type of race.
No surprise, Bayne did not live up to the widespread media attention throughout 2011, the Daytona 500 being the only top 10 of his career until the following season. And though Bayne's performance of late has been improving, he still has a long way to go to live up to the hype that winning the biggest race of them all has created. Number 3, DarioFranchitti. Is this even worth remembering? I really don't want to embarrass Dario. Nonetheless, one of the most infamously humiliating moments that recent NASCAR has to offer is the onslaught of open-wheel drivers in 2007 and 2008, and apart from Juan Pablo Montoya, none of them reached any measurable amount of Cup Series success despite non-stop media attention. I won't mince words, Dario's season was nothing short of pathetic.
He had it in the top 10.
And we're looking at what happened to him as we heard on the radio. DarioFranchitti said, I just didn't have any brakes, didn't mean to do it, but...
Unsurprisingly so, having shown zero promise in his meager 4 nationwide series starts before his 2008 rookie year. Dario's foray into NASCAR ended only midway into 2008 after missing 3 races and never climbing the Chip Ganassi 40 team higher than 33rd in points.
Franchitti in the wall, and there's Sam Hornish, who has really had just about...
Number 2, Scott Speed. Ironic that both of the drivers in that ARCA clip from earlier wound up on this list. The difference here is that Scott Speed didn't just have his open wheel record following him, but also impressed in both ARCA and even the Camping World Truck Series, nearly winning the title in ARCA in his rookie year as stated. But Speed's success coming up the ranks did not transfer to the flourishing Red Bull Racing at number 82 in 2009.
Toenail.
The nickname may stick, but it's going to be Scott Speed coming out of turn number 4. He'll win at the Monster Mile.
He finished the season 35th in points with an average finish of 29th. Speed competed with Red Bull for 2 years, and then was relegated to Start and Park until leaving the sport for Rallycross in 2013, where he now makes a pretty good name for himself. But for him, NASCAR success remains ultimately foreign ground.
Turn 1. Whoa. Well, if he'd have made that corner, he'd have passed about 3 cars, but unfortunately, it was just a little too much speed right there.
It's a little too much speed.
White flag. Time for a few honorable mentions.
Like Gailey decided to come down into pit lane and didn't let everybody behind him know. And I mean, took out 2 good race cars.
Barrier. Still a hard hit for Riggs.
That actually starts, I think, a little further up here.
It does.
Robbie Gordon in the 7 gets into the back of David Reagan in the 6.
Rookie leader, a lot of damage to the front of that Conway Ford.
You can't go 4 wide. It's not going to work.
It didn't.
99 is the 10
Carl Edwards got a piece of that.
Yeah, Patrick Carpentier loops around.
I did everything I could there.
I just lost it coming up. I don't know if something happened to the car or if it was just my inexperience. You know, it's hard for me.
Oh, trouble, Villeneuve.
Yeah, I just told the guys, I said 27's in trouble.
And Jamie McMurray, who was pushed down by the yellow.
And the checkered flag, guys, it's Danica Patrick.
Danica Patrick. Danica Patrick.
Danica Patrick. Danica Patrick.
Danica.
You're just a little too much speed right there.
She's got the Paris Hilton camera presence with an Angelica Pickles attitude behind the wheel. She's the physical embodiment of legitimized female objectification in motorsports, especially in the way ads treat her. She provides self-sustaining hype that hasn't been backed up but won't die until it happens. She is to NASCAR what Donald Trump is to U.S. politics. She is literally NASCAR selling out. There is not a shred of doubt in my mind that coming to NASCAR was not a decision that she consciously made herself. NASCAR needs a female driver to break the monotony and ultimately appease equality questions within the sport, especially if the sport wants to move in a more progressive direction as it has been showing of late. But that driver needs to be held to the same standards as any other driver that enters the sport. As controversial as it is, I agree with Kyle Petty on this one.
Where's she at as a driver? Yeah, that's where I have a problem. Where fans have bought into the hype of the marketing to think she's a race car driver. She can go fast. You know, the King always had that stupid saying, but it's true. Lots of drivers can drive fast, but very few drivers can race. Danica has been the perfect example of somebody who can qualify better than what she runs. You know what I mean? She can go fast, but she can't race. So I think she's come a long way. But she's still not a race car driver.
She's not a stock car driver, she's a money machine. She gets some of the most airtime, though it's admittedly less than in her rookie year. but her average finish in 154 starts is 24.1. She's not being held to the same standards that other stock car drivers are held to. Every one of those starts has been made for a team that has put a car in the championship for every year of the elimination style chase and maintains full season averages across the rest of the teams that far outweigh her own. And the fact still remains that she wrecks a lot of cars. But while the money keeps rolling in, this is a hype that surely will not die anytime soon.
If you like the list, give it a like and share it with your friends. If you want to see more lists like this, be sure to subscribe. Disagree or want to share your list? Leave a comment. See you guys next time, bye.